Well, we're joined now from Leeds by the Shadow Home Secretary Yvette Cooper. Yvette Cooper, do you agree with the Prime Minister that there is a good evening? Do you think there is a danger of a witch hunt amid the rising hysteria around these discoveries?
Well, I think there have been some very serious allegations of crimes against children, not simply what's happened in North Wales, but also, obviously, there's been the Savile cases and some of the other cases linked to that, and also Rotherham and Rochdale too. So I think you have very serious cases that have to be investigated by the police. I think the Prime Minister, of course, could not be expected to talk about individuals on live television, and I think he was rather taken by surprise when that happened today.
Well, I do agree with your parliamentary colleague Anne Clwyd that the Gillings Inquiry into what happened in North Wales should quite simply be published.
Well, I think that's exactly what we need to happen now, is the proper investigation into what happened. And there's two things that need to take place. First of all is actually a criminal investigation, because where there are prosecutions that need to take place, they should do. They need to be backed by evidence, and we need to get the police to get to the heart of the problem. And it is a good thing that the Child Exploitation Online Protection Unit, which is the experts in this field, have been brought in to do that. But the second thing is that we now seem to have a series of different, slightly confused reviews and inquiries that are non-criminal investigations to institutional failings of why this didn't come out in the first place, whether that was in North Wales, whether that was in individual hospitals, the case of Jimmy Savile. There are nearly there are more than nine of these non-criminal inquiries, and that's why you need this broader inquiry to take place.
But this original report, which we're told was pulp, but we believe there are copies of it around, should that not now be published, quite simply?
Well, it does look as if it should, but obviously there will be legal considerations about whether the evidence in that report allows it to be so. But I would certainly think that that is exactly what needs to be looked into. That's the case for the inquiry, to look at that report, look at whether that can be made public, look at actually what did happen, and if the truth didn't come out, why didn't it? Because, you know, this is in the end about crimes against children. It's about cases where repeatedly it seems to be that victims were simply not believed or felt too scared to come forward and were not taken seriously because they were children. But
the difficulty, Yvette Cooper, is that reports, by their definition, slow things down. There we have Sian Griffiths at the top of our programme. She was right in the middle of the council. She knew exactly what was in that report. She has a list of names. Surely, immediately, those people should be questioned, those who are still alive, immediately.
Well, certainly, that's exactly what the police should be doing. And so that's why you need to start off with a criminal investigation into all of these cases. It needs to be done, it needs to be swiftly underway, it needs to be properly resourced as well, and we need to have confidence that the police can do that. But in addition, there are all these other questions about why the information didn't come out at the start, why it didn't come out earlier, and whether these previous investigations or inquiries got to the truth or not. And that's why I think you need this single overarching inquiry to look into that and to look into all of these things so that lessons can properly be learned. Yeah, that's what the child protection experts are calling for.
The awful worry with that is that history tells us that when you get great big inquiries, like the Savile inquiry in Northern Ireland into Bloody Sunday, you have a situation which goes on for years, costs millions, and the victims never get really to the truth until it's almost too late. Either they are dead or the people who are to blame are dead.
Well, I think the first thing in terms of help for the victims is the criminal investigations by the police so that you can, where there is the evidence, get prosecutions. That is what needs to happen to get justice for those victims. So that's the first thing that needs to take place. But then secondly, in order to have these lessons learned, my fear at the moment is that we actually have a lot of different inquiries, all of which could end up, we don't know how long they're going to take. There's nothing to draw them together. In the end, they actually are raising common issues about victims not being believed, about institutions not properly looking at what was taking place within them, not properly doing everything that they needed to protect children in their care, to protect those that they had a responsibility towards. Right. And that's why I think it's child protection experts who are calling for this overarching inquiry, and I support their expertise and what they're calling for.
Yvette Cooper in Leeds, thank you very much indeed.